All right, welcome back. It is 11:46 right now, and while spring break typically represents a time of rest, it can also be stressful. I'm so excited to be here with Beth Tucker. She's from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Beth, thank you so much for being here. We were saying we were wishing that we had our own adult spring break, but for parents who have the kids at home, this can be a lot. So should people take a true break or kind of stick to a routine?
Well, studies have shown that, kids thrive with routine. So yeah, let the kids stay up a little later, let them have some of those snacks that you normally don't let them have, but also making sure that you keep them on some sort of schedule so that it's not so hard to transition back the following week to school. So don't let them lay in bed all day. Make sure they're eating, drinking, getting up, talking to you, that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That circadian rhythm is certainly important, keeping their meals on track. So when we're talking about activities, outside or inside, of course, we want to get the kids outside as much as we can, but what should we do when we've got severe weather potentially?
That is true. Yeah, so as much as you can, get them outside, because studies have shown that there's a 50% reduction in kids being just outside playing, and that, hinders their mental health, their, being able to be creative, that type of thing. So if they have to come inside, do some fun activities in the house with them.
50% reduction in playing outside. That is wild. And of course, a lot of that is because of electronics. So you've got some tips for us prepared, the 5 C's of media, and we're talking first about child. So tell me about the first C.
Yeah, so just knowing your child, what developmental stage they are in, what's their temperament. Do they do well if they have access to electronics, or does that really hinder them?
Exactly. Definitely a case-by-case basis with that. Next, tell me about content. What is important there, and how can you kind of monitor what your kids are seeing?
Yeah, so exactly what you said, monitoring what they're watching. What do they have access to? What kind of video games are they playing? Is there a way to put parental controls on some of those activities? That's very important.
Exactly, and a lot of those social media sites now have a way that you can go in, set on your TV programs, all those good things to control that. The third C is calm. So what does that mean in this context?
Yeah, so you don't want it to be that the only thing that calms your kid is putting them in front of electronics. Oh, they're throwing a tantrum, let me give them their phone, or let me get them on the TV, that type of thing. But making sure that they have other ways to calm themselves versus just turning to social media or just some sort of electronic.
Yeah, that's definitely some good advice. Getting outside always used to calm me down as a kid. Getting in that physical activity time is certainly important, and finding ways to do that inside too,
sure.
Even when there is some severe weather or rain outside. Okay, the next C is crowding out. What does that mean?
So that means basically just making sure that they're not on the, watching TV, on the computer, that type of thing. When it comes to family time, put our phones down, even adults, put your phone down at the family dinner table, making sure that you're able to communicate with them and they're not missing out on going to activities with you just because they want to stay at home on their electronics.
Definitely a good reminder to detach whenever you can. And then lastly, communication. What does that mean, communicating with your child during this time when they're hopefully stepping away from everything that makes them so busy?
Yeah, so just communicating with them hey, this is one of the reasons why we're going to limit your social media or your electronic time. And also just this is what I'm seeing, or, talking to them. Sit down and watch a show with them. I feel like that can be a fun little activity, and then talking about the show after you watch it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something you can still squeeze in for busy parents that are at work still this week. Come home from work and fit that time in to communicate with your child.
That's perfect.
Wonderful. Well, Beth, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We've got this whole post of this video over on our website, WKRN.com. You can head there if you'd like to check this out again.